Hi, glad you could join me. My name is Duane, and I'm here to talk about my new album, Credibility, that just came out. Credibility, it's an interesting word. It's has to do with being trusted and being believed, and in many cases, it's inspiring beliefs. So you have to have that when you have a relationship. Uh, this 12 songs that I have included. Last summer, I got on a writing spree. I was lucky enough to create in my brain some inspiration, and I had a series of songs and ideas that kept coming, floating, getting to me. And if anybody that writes out there knows, once if you're lucky to have at times clarity and inspiration, you want to stick with it. So we're going to talk about the songs on clarity, the songs on credibility, and the songs about the human condition that we all are living, the events and situations which make up our lives and our own human existence. So I kind of was tapping into that a little bit. Song one on this record is called It Wasn't Me. And this all started with a conversation. I had a conversation. I was talking online with somebody, and I had asked them, where are you from? Where's the town that you live in? And in the conversation, I decided that I'd drop the name. I was going to write a new tune, so I was going to write the name of the person's hometown in the song. And from there, could envision a person, a girl that had had a bad relationship maybe and was hurting. And so I wanted to write a story about me going there to meet them and basically to tell them it's all right. It's it's okay to continue. There's hope out there. There's somebody for you that's going to come. You just wait. So the story started to write itself, both the lyrics and the music in this particular song both started at the same time, and I tried the best that I could to get it out of my brain. Hi to everybody out there. So that was the first song. It wasn't me. It wasn't very hard to write the song, really. It wrote itself. And which led into the second song. Oh, by the way, It Wasn't Me is also a video that I put together, and you can catch it on my YouTube channel. I like the video that I did for it very much. And perhaps for some people, videos are better. So Duane Music, my YouTube channel, you want to check out the video for it. These songs are available on my YouTube channel and everywhere, Spotify and Pandora, iTunes, YouTube Music. It's wherever you stream, you can find it, or you can look for it on my Bandcamp page, Nick Duane, or you can even look for it on eBay. I'm sure it's out there, as most of my other songs, albums rather, most of my other albums are on eBay. Normally, I write singles, and I'll do a couple of songs just like now. I've finished this album, but I've completed 2 songs, and I could release them at any time. I usually have songs I would like to put out and in advance and have a plan for when you're going to release them. But for some reason, for credibility, I just kept getting a bunch of ideas, so I didn't want to stop the workflow. And after I got to about 8 songs, I realized I'm going to have to do an album. It's been a couple of years, so I was more than happy to put these songs together. Song 2, Lost My Cell Phone. I had I have different methods for writing songs, and on this particular song, I had put out the music first, and had recorded all of the music. And okay, so I'm going to play the music, and because I hadn't written any words for it, and I played the music. I put on headphones, put on the music, and sang over the top. My mindset for this song was to it's not really karaoke, but if you're in a band and somebody said, hey, come up, Nick, why don't you sing something? And they're having a riff and putting a groove down, and you're feeling it. And so I tried to have the same mindset for this, just be spontaneous. So I just riffed over the top. And when the song was done, I took off the headphones and heard the playback, and I kept it. That was the first and only take I did for that song. And I had to literally play it back and write down what the lyrics were. It just seemed to work on one take like that. So I wish every song was like that. Believe me, it would make life a lot easier. But that was Lost My Cell Phone, which is track 2. Track 3 now, we're going to go to The Stars Align. And the Stars Align, the story behind that song, a few years ago, a friend of mine had passed away, grammar school friend, and I was affected. Of course, you get affected by things that impact your life. So my childhood friend passing away, of course, affected me, and I wrote a song, The Stars Align, and it was on a computer, but the computer crashed. So it had a couple of different hard drives on it. So when I was starting to work on the project for credibility, I remembered, boy, I had some music that I really wanted to use, but I'd never published yet. So I was able to find the hard drive that had crashed and managed to extract from a few years ago the music into, this album was written in last summer, from the summer of 2024. I wrote everything on here. So I managed to extract the music from the old hard drive and bring it to 2024. And then, of course, I had to have a new set of lyrics because life's different, and keeping up with what was in my brain at the time and trying to get it out into online world, or however you want to say it, the digital music world, or in some cases, even the CD world. But I kept all new lyrics, but I kept the title, The Stars Align. So the music and the title were the same from years ago, but the lyrics are now all new. So that's the story, kind of, about The Stars Align. So now, eyes wide open. And at this hour of the morning, I'm going to need some coffee for that. But see, I always tell the truth. Eyes Wide Open is the next song from Credibility. And oddly enough, I have 12 songs, but this was the first of the 12 songs that I had written. And all the other songs after this, It Wasn't Me, Lost My Cell Phone, everything else I put in the album in the order that I had recorded it, except for Eyes Wide Open, which is the 4th track. I thought sonically it fit better there, but for the most part, the album was written in song order as I had written it and recorded it. So I'm seeing, hi, I can see you. Just seeing different fans there writing to me on, can you see my comment? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Eyes Wide Open. Okay, Eyes Wide Open was a different type of song, and I think it just has a different message in a way, but it still fits in with how people can feel about when you're up against the odds and you're fighting whether it's the demons inside you or somebody that's bullying you, or when you feel everything in life is stacked against you and it's not working out. So that kind of leans into the lyrics on that. Uh, Reading down here, can you see my comment? Yes, I can see your comment. I'm glad you're there, actually. Miles Away is the next song. Miles Away, I really like that song for a number of reasons, the way it turned out, but it was also very interesting. Miles Away from Credibility. Once again, I was on an online conversation, oddly enough, with the same person that I was on talking to earlier. And they asked me, well, you're going to be writing a song. I said, yeah. Why don't you mention my name, Ice Cream, and Hide and Seek? So I thought, okay, sure. So I had a couple of failed attempts, but the failed attempts won't be used, obviously, because it was just a straight up rocker. I didn't like it. I tried another version. It just didn't. I played it back. Nah, I don't like that. So I kind of flipped everything around and changed the instrumentation and my approach and the rhythm of what I was doing. And there we have the song called Miles Away. And all of these songs are obviously available. Hey, how are you doing? All these songs are available, and this is my upcoming release right now. And in the future, of course, I will have more music, like I had already alluded to, that I have completed a couple of songs already, recorded them, mixed and mastered them already, and they will be out later this year in 2025. At this point, I don't know in what way, other than online at the moment, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, stuff like that, and YouTube, on my YouTube page, of course. The next song, Between the Lines, I decided to write a story. Maybe you can relate to this, where you get yourself involved in a situation, and then it feels so good, but then you start to question it, and you all you really want to do is go home. I mean, whether it's a card game you're losing, or oh God, I don't know, anything, a situation, a relationship, a business decision, a new motorcycle you just bought, and suddenly there's a problem with it. Could be anything. But this story is about somebody that goes into town and finds that, into a town and finds that they are in a situation of their own making, but all they want to do is go somewhere else and be somewhere else, because they don't feel it's all quite working out in some ways. So that's Between the Lines from Credibility. I don't know. You can also find my songs on Instagram and TikTok as well. And my music's kind of all over the place. If you haven't heard of me, maybe you want to check this out. And if you're interested, keep following up. So Simple was the next song I wrote. I wrote So Simple. At first it was a positive song. Oh, I love you. Yeah. Life can be so simple. But I don't like to always write everything the same way. So I changed it up a little bit, and wanted to add, sometimes when you dream and fail, it might not work out. So there's a give and take on that, where part of the song is positive and part of the song isn't, and then there's optimism at the end, kind of like getting knocked down a little bit and getting back up. So that's what So Simple is about. I had mentioned before that you can find everything on my social media, um, my Facebook page. There's different shorts all over the place. Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Twitter. Well, it's X now. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads. But I've been trying to let people know about this record because this album, I like these songs I've written on this, and I kind of like the way it fit together. And I have a slightly different approach on this than some of my earlier, more experimental works. So in some aspects, it might be more relatable and easier to get into than everything I've ever done. New Beginnings is a story about two star-crossed lovers that have met, but they're kept apart by location and fate. And if you've ever loved somebody and can't be with them, and it really can get to you. And it can be hard. So that's the story of New Beginnings. I've tried a couple of different approaches on that, but I like the way it fit finally. It kind of represented, sometimes you get a thought in your brain and you try and get it out, but it's not always so easy to. So writing. So I kind of finally got New Beginnings more how I envisioned it. But I don't know. Being a star-crossed lover, I would imagine would be a bitch, where you can't be with somebody you really want to be with, and you miss them all the time. You Don't Know is the next song. The next song from Credibility, the title of this one is called You Don't Know. And I had some different music in my head that I wanted to go for. It had a different sound, and I wanted to explore and interpret what I had in my brain. So it sounds sonically a little different from the other songs on Credibility. I wanted to explore that, and once I started writing the music, the lyrics went with it. So once again, on this particular song, I was writing it as it went along, and the lyrics came up really quickly as I started to write the music, so it was almost the same. They almost ran parallel to how it worked on writing that particular song. Oh, thank you. Somebody just commented on my voice. I guess they can maybe hear me or something, which is a good thing. The next song, I was just asked, when did my music journey begin? Oh my gosh. I think I've had music in my brain. I had an older sister, and she was 8 years older than I am. And I had an older sister, and she used to have. I remember her being a teenager and collecting these records at the time, and so you're looking up at your big sister and saying, "Wow, you got all these nice early, you got all this like rock and roll stuff going on." So I used to listen to my sister's records. That was the first influence, and of course, I later found my own interests in music, which I also collected records at one time. I really got into collecting records and 45s, albums, and I originally went back into time and started with the 50s, Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry. I really liked early Chuck Berry stuff, and I still have a lot of records. I still have a lot of my old 45s. Sometimes old habits die hard, as you see music go from physical 45 to 8-track. Then it went to thinking about the history. Well, you could really go back and say 78s, but that's way before my time. But then cassettes and CDs and online. But continuing with music, eventually I wanted to play music. So I remember in high school, I got together with some friends and we formed a band called Backslap, actually Backslap Blues Band. And at that time we played, but the thing at that time wasn't really into writing original material, but the songs we were playing at the time were kind of obscure, right? You're not going to hear them on the regular radio station. So from there, I eventually wanted to write my own stuff. Somebody said, I can't see all the CDs behind you. Yeah, there are some CDs behind me, but they don't, they're not always kind to the light as I'm doing that. So I didn't want to put, yeah, there's CDs out there, people. There are CDs out there. If you want to buy CDs, there are CDs. Hey, it's CD Town right here at Nick Duane Music. But I believe right now eBay and my Bandcamp page, Nick Duane on Bandcamp, you can get a CD through there and mail to your own hometown. I kid you not. But eventually I was in the group and I played, and when I was playing in groups during the years, I realized I wanted my own voice. I started off with playing bass guitar in bands because for me, the 4 strings were easier to learn. And I played bass originally in bands. And then I started playing guitar because I started dreaming up my own songs, which is what I always wanted to do. I always had my own thoughts about stuff. And I found it easier as I learned guitar and could dabble a little bit later on keyboard on a computer to find my own voice. And I haven't been playing out regularly for a little while with my own band anymore. I have just been online. So I'm only existing in the digital world, people. But seriously, I've been into music almost my whole life. Some people think, I don't know what they think when they walk down the street, but sometimes I just think of songs that pop into my head, especially when I'm driving. Driving a truck or a car or whatever. A lot of times I would just think and be making up music. So I stepped away from it for a little while because life got in the way, and then I came back to it. So I'm still here. I don't know if anybody ever heard of Brian Eno. Brian Eno is somebody that worked with David Bowie, U2, Talking Heads, Roxy Music. Actually, I still have a letter from Brian Eno that I once wrote him years ago, many years ago. And that I won't sell yet on eBay. But anyway, I did sell some other stuff on eBay at one time. But the reason I bring up Brian Eno is because he at one time had a deck of cards called Oblique Strategies, and they were meant for songwriting. If you get stuck, draw out a card. So on the song You Don't Know, I was having a little trouble with that, exactly how I wanted the song to go, because I wanted to write a straight out rocker because I hadn't done that in a little while. And I got stuck on one of the changes, and one of Brian's cards was honor thy hidden intention, which means if you make an error when you're writing, sometimes it can throw you in a whole different direction. And a lot of times if you follow that direction, it leads to interesting things. I'm not saying it always works, but in this song, I used that. And I've done that over a number of years. And I like the way it worked in that, and I just went with it. So, and getting back to one more time about it, when you make a mistake or adding something different. Recently for this A couple of people have reviewed this, have done in print recently, have done a little write-up on credibility. And one of the writers mentioned how they thought that I brought different, at times, little different form of music in a way and put it into one that normally doesn't fit. And I was glad to see somebody finally picked up on that, because I have been doing that for years. Real life instance, a friend of mine, we were going to promote another record years ago that I'd done. And in the band that I was with, the drummer said, "Can I throw a little disco part here on the drums? Would that be okay?" And I said, "Let's hear it." And yeah, it worked fine. That didn't fit in that type of music, but that was many, many years ago. So maybe that's where I got that from, and maybe the Brian Eno, but I like to at times try not to do everything ordinary, because maybe I don't think that way in the first place. Anyway, that's the part of the story about You Don't Know, but that's a straight up rocker. Tell Me. That's the straight up rocker. You Don't Know. I guess I don't know. But Tell Me was a straight up rocker, where I went off in a different direction. Songwriting is also different for me, because I once read years ago, like the Beatles would record a song, and maybe they'd record it and do it in different rhythms and at different times. I do that a lot too. I do that a lot as well. I've just was asked online, what music will you be releasing this month? Well, this month, because this is a brand new record and it just came out, I just released from this Lost My Cell Phone, which is also off Credibility, and we put out a new video, which you can find on my YouTube page, or go to YouTube, or just Lost My Cell Phone. And it's I like the way the video came out as well, and I think you might well like it too. Somebody I don't know got in touch with me recently. They don't listen to my music, but they got in touch and said, "Hey, I really like that video." So maybe you will too, but go to my YouTube page, or just go to YouTube and look up Nick Duane, Lost My Cell Phone. I think I'm losing my mind. But this music, also, I might be releasing a couple of live things on my YouTube page this month, and perhaps there'll be another full form video this month from Credibility. But for now, check out It Wasn't Me and Lost My Cell Phone, that are both on this, and there's videos both on YouTube, and I think you might like them. A Master Plan was the next song, and the master plan, you got to have a plan. You can't just you just can't go in life. You have to have a plan, and you can't just do something, whether it's a prison break or a relationship breakup, or you want to start a new business or a new joint adventure, or whatever is new in your life. You got to have a plan. It really helps if you have something. So a master plan was the basis of the writing. I came up with the title. A lot of the songs I write, I think of a title. Don't ask me why. And then I go back and write a song to fit the title, that for some reason. But I could walk to the kitchen right now and think plate of eggs. It may be, okay, so I'm going to write plate of eggs. I mean, it makes no sense, but that's how inspiration sometimes hits you in different ways. The message I'm trying to give to my fans talking right now is to introduce myself if you haven't heard of me. My name's Nick Duane, and I have a new piece of work that I just did called Credibility. And I really like the songs, and I'm hoping you might like the songs too, because I think in some ways what I've written about is relatable and easy to get into. I don't try to sound like anybody else. I don't try to imitate anybody else. I can't. I can only be me, for good or bad. I'm kind of not really a follower in a way. So that's this. And the last song on here. Oh, one more thing. A Master Plan. A friend of mine released a song called Master Plan. So, sorry, Jim, didn't copy you. It's a master plan. So it's good to have a plan in life, and it's really good when you can execute the plan. I'm kind of used to executing plans. Set a goal, make a plan from A to Z, do it, bada bing. But that's just me. Oceans is the last song on here. And Oceans is tough in a way. It's a different song, and I thought it was a good song to close out the album. Similar to Lost My Cell Phone, where I envisioned I was just going to do like karaoke with a band, kind of. You go, hey Nick, come up here and sing something. But instead of singing the song everybody knows, they just did a riff and you lay something over the top. Oceans is the same thing. I kind of role played in a way where I became extremely invested in the person. It's a song when a lover feels that his partner, where a lover feels his partner is leaving him. He can feel that they are breaking the connection that they have, and they're starting to leave them. And if you ever have gone through this in life where suddenly you're caught unawares and the connection and bond you have is suddenly being broke, and you can feel that. So I finished the music, and as I was writing the music, I had the words in my head and knew how I was going to sing it. And to me, it was a very easy song to sing because it could envision all of this all at once. But I pictured for the vocal delivery, I wanted to really live the person, and I could have done it in 1 or 2 takes, but I got really emotionally involved singing it. So I really was feeling I was breaking up with somebody. My lover was breaking up with me, leaving me unexpectedly. So I had to do a vocal overdub on it because it was, I wouldn't want anyone to hear what had happened. So anyway, I did a vocal overdub on that. And for some reason, I left in 2 of the words that express the truth of the moment I was going through at the moment of recording it. And to me, it made it more real. Well, for some reason, that's what I did. But Oceans closes out the record. And please check out Credibility. Check out the songs on it. Look me up on social platforms, Nick Duane or Nick Duane Music. And you can find me almost anywhere in my YouTube page. Has a couple of videos, like I said, from this record. But Credibility, 12 songs. And I hope you get a chance to listen to it. It's been great talking with you. And I hope everybody has credibility in their lives. Bye.